if you hear background noise, I'm doing laundry. It's so funny. I laugh at myself so much. Oh, I already played for a while. It's so funny. Look, I got jammies. So I'm so weird. I don't know how much you laugh at yourself, but I laugh at myself all the time because I came up with this rule, whatever that means, right? That, if I'm going to have a lot of clothes, then I'm going to wear those clothes. So I like wait to do laundry. Like totally, like, and it's so funny too because it'll pile up and the hamper's like just compressed. And I'll go to the closet and they'll be like, oh, I don't want to wear that. It makes me look fat or whatever. And I'm like, whatever, you got to wear that. Or if you don't wear that, you get like one buy in where you don't have to wear it because I let the clothes run out. So I haven't seen these jammies in like forever. It's like, oh, I got jammies. Oh, anyway. So I actually, reacted to some of these. I wrote them down. So I thought, oof. So, yeah, I know, right? Turf wars, you know? Whew. Oh, I may have to play it again for a second. Okay, so, turfs. J.K. Rowling's, how do I feel about that? All of it. And you know what? To me, it's like turf in itself is name calling. To me, it is. It just is. Because it it means somehow that, their opinion matters, I think. And it matters to you. It's so we had to put a name around it, I guess, whatever. Because some people don't think you're a woman, you know. Yeah. Some people don't think the world is round either. In fact, Google that sometime. The guy that built the but that's what's so funny about it is it's okay and like who cares? Seriously, I mean, who cares? It's not, I don't think it's an affront to you. And we have names for everything. It's so funny, you laugh. Or, I'll laugh. But I've been going through all this craziness since, we have a new president. Because the energies I'm feeling are worse than ever. I actually don't do a lot of politics stuff, but I did a couple tweets because I felt like Spirit was calling me to do that. Something a little snappy, try to get their attention. It's like, so, obviously I vote. But I changed my party affiliation. I was just like, I'm so sick of the energies. And it occurred to me, it's like, you know what, there's a lot of parties, right? Political parties. And there's probably, primarily two. And, just like turf is name calling, I think Republican and Democrats name calling too. So I've been loving the energy of what's been going on with the younger generations. Oh my God, I've had so much hope because of them, right? So the whole thing with Robin Hood and the stock market stuff, how beautiful, because it should tell all of us that we have power. We have power in this country, United States. This whole political machine is driven by money, and you're Republican or you're Democrat. And if mostly you agree with Republican stuff, then you might say I'm a Republican. And mostly if you believe with Democratic stuff, you might say I'm a Democrat, right? Why do we have to say it at all? Why can't everyone just do what I did? No party affiliation. You know, I'll weigh each candidate as it comes and goes, and no more name calling. It's like, oof, oof, oof. So it's like trans. Oh my God, I've gotten so many questions about, what do I consider trans? It's like, oh my God, do we have to define it? I don't think we do. I don't think we do. I mean, historically, trans means to kind of transition, but it never really says how far, you transition. And can some do it at all? Because of the economics of it, When you're living in a society that has like a whole lot of money that is profit made from like healthcare, for example, pure capitalism, you know, I struggle with that a lot because it seems like, okay, what really is the society providing? We certainly have seen the defense budget and, yada, yada, yada. But, oof. So that whole Terf question, J.K. Rowling, you know what? Money doesn't mean it matters. And Robin Hood with the stock thing, right? With GameStop has proven this, which is when the masses stand up, when we stand up and we say, you know what? Don't care. Don't care what you think. As long as I have equal rights and people can understand that no one wants to be this. What is trans? For many, trans is means transition, transition of sexuality. And what does that mean? Does it mean you get surgery, you don't get surgery? I don't know. Maybe, like everything, it's shades of gray. Maybe we're all trans, including trans crossdressers, who don't identify as trans at all. But on the gradient of, sexuality, yeah, it's probably in the gray end there somewhere, So that's the thing that just kills me. It's like, oh my gosh. Which takes us to the next one, which is religion. Yeah. It's a beautiful thing in so many ways, It's like, I can't tell you how many times that I'm like, boy, I wish I could embrace and be a Muslim or be in a Muslim society where you just had to stop your shit 3 times a day, roll out a mat, get down and pray, and just get a grip. It's only been a few hours too. So it seems like that could carry you pretty far. And can you imagine that in America? Oh my God. Everything stops, It would be beautiful, I don't see that happening. So I think, a lot of religion is, it's geography. That's what I believe. My faith isn't bound to religion. It's bound to what I believe. And actually, you see, I told you I took notes for a reason. AKA down the rabbit hole, right? And for me, going down the rabbit hole meant to look up, meaning at the stars. And what astrophysicists are doing and what quantum physics is seeming to learn and, the mysteries and the Dr. Radin stuff with the double slit experiment. Ugh. And so I went into this amazement and a spirituality of knowing there's something I can't really understand because bubble it up to blonde, right? I'm still blonde because math works. So I love what Tesla said too. Oh my God, oof. You gotta love that. I love Elon Musk so much. And I think of him as Tesla because of the whole shooting the convertible up into space. but more in some of the interviews I've read about him where he's like, and he's being serious in his own wow kind of way. Um, he's like 50-50, we're not in a simulation. You know? So, I don't know, I just, the whole name calling thing, the whole getting fired up about it, it's like, boy, is it different than maybe race and someone going at you, calling you the N-word and stuff like that? Or they don't believe you're human, right? Because you're a different race, different color, different creed, whatever, they don't think you are. They think you're beneath that. That's all that energy of, we've talked about this so many times, judging. Just, you're judging everything. And when can you stop, I don't know. And I told you how I did. I went through these principles, not really as steps. I got sober. And that was the other thing. Oh my God. So I can't recommend anybody's surgery is right for you or not right for you. But I can tell you, back when I had the thing I didn't want to have, I tortured the damn thing. You name it, I would torture it. Including like a big, whatever the Prince Albert, I think it is, a big fat gauge. At the end of it, because it's like, oh, I was angry at something, and I knew what. So to consider any forms of surgery or whatever, I think that should be a sobering decision that should only be made if you yourself know you're not trapped by certain energies. It could be drugs, alcohol, common right, whatever it is. But it could be trapped by hatred, or it could be trapped by disappointment, or, any of these things. So if you're free from something owning you, then that's what I call sober. So I don't know. One thing, oh my gosh, you can tell I floated off into space there, because one thing that strikes me is, I guess, to ask you the question, do you love your dick? No, seriously. I'm not being weird, not being gross, whatever. I got clean jammies on. I haven't worn for 4 months, maybe. But do you love it? Do you love touching it? Do you love feeling it? Do you love using it? Do you love using it? If you do, I think you're in that, whatever trans is, if we're everybody from cross-dressers to, not only do I not want to use that, I don't even want to realize it's there. And I mean in personally your heart now. I'm not talking about what anybody else thinks or what you do externally. I'm talking about you inside of you. Do you love the damn thing? And I would say that can still absolutely be trans, And some would say, well, you're just cross-dresser, name calling, right? Well, no, I think cross-dressers are trans. So I'm the wrong person to ask that question. Just like Terf, it's like, oh my God. The only thing I love about Terf is when nature grows it. Oh, and what was the last one? My low battery warning. Oh my God. So we just talk about judging, right? I didn't put them in order either. You could actually see it. I didn't put them in order. And the last one is the question I got about amends. How do you make amends? I got sober in AA, right? And I think those people are like among the best in the world that I've met. The sober ones, until you get there, especially those in step 12 that are giving back so much, so much of their time and their love, and their empathy, So amends to me started as something then when I did it, and it's grown in my personal understanding for me. So amends is really about energy exchange. It's really about if you can call it a do-over or take back, taking back that darkness that you did in some way. That darkness that it still infects you because you still remember it. So, if you're like, I guess, what do they call it? Wet brain or something like that. So if you have limited or reduced, mental capacity to remember things due to drugs, alcohol, or, some genetic condition or whatever, right? That's a different conversation completely. But generally, I would say if you don't remember things and you're sober, right? Probably wasn't dark. So you'll remember the lightest things, most people do, because it's powerful light, right? But how many of the dark things do you remember? Have you ever gone through that exercise? Which is just start going through your memory, randomly. The universe is random, right? So just start going through your memory and jot them down, don't jot them down, whatever, make ticky marks or whatever. And just lay there, meditating. And start going through them and start doing ticky marks or notes or whatever you want to do. And how many of them are like really good and warm and beautiful memories? And how many of them aren't? Remember how I define light, right? All I can say is it ain't dark. It's light in some way, which puts a smile on your face, a warmth, a memory that is positive and you feel good about, which can't scientifically be defined what that even means. You feel good about, but you know what it means. So one of my favorite stories that stuck with me, I think he still might even be a Facebook friend, Jason, back from when I was totally a mess, train wreck, and went into my first AA meetings, right? And I'm still drinking because, they say, well, you got to stop drinking when you go to AA. Bullshit on that. What I'm there for is because I want to try to stop, And there's some angels that totally understand that. So I don't go slobbering drunk or obnoxious or anything because I'm trying to stop, right? But that doesn't mean after the meeting I didn't have a lot to think about and didn't drink. So it took me, I don't know, 6 weeks, 7 weeks before I just had enough, of drinking and had to keep trying. And then it took another month and then I succeeded. But the whole time I was getting these principles, not because the step said, you are a blonde and do this, because I looked at it and I said, here's the principle behind that step. Let me study that and see what the hell it means to me. And that's why a lot of people say, down the rabbit hole you go, because they're deep. So when you think about energy exchange, in those first meetings, Jason, if you're still around, hey Jason, I love you, baby. And I'm going to tell this story, which is they were talking about amends. And he said, when he was drunk and partying, whatever, he and his buddies had gone camping and, tents had a great partying weekend. We all know what that means. You can read between the lines. I'm not going to repeat a story. They get back to the car and they have like 2 flat tires. And they're like, fuck. And they're like, what are we going to do? And it's like a park or whatever. You're in the middle of nowhere. It's going to cost you some jingle if you got 2 flat tires, right? So they look around the parking lot and find a car that's got similar bolt pattern and steal 2 tires and leave them the 2 flats. And he has no idea who it was. And they were still buzzing along when that happened, right? So he goes on to say, in his amends, he didn't know how to do it. He's like, how do I take that back? So he said, when he's going on the freeway, every single time he sees a car with a flat tire or looks like they need help, meaning somebody else isn't already helping him, he'll pull over and ask. And that struck me to my heart. This is so many years ago. I don't know, 6, 7 years ago. It struck me so deep in my heart because I was like, I saw the beauty of it. Oh my God. And how long will he do it? I don't know. Until I betcha he feels it's amended. It's amended. So that's what I got to say about amends. It's all I can share. It's what I got. It's super hard, but it's also super beautiful. It really is. If you can step out of it and see you, this train wreck, right? that's making amends in your own beautiful way. Like the story I told you, that's why it's stuck in my heart. So a lot of things you may not know who you did it to, you know, and that's a problem. Right? That was a problem for him. It's like, oh boy, what do I do? Well, his idea came to him out of his head, you know. Well, I'm going to help anybody that has a flat. So I love that. You know, I love that. I don't know, baby. It's just so funny because this experience, there's so many distractions you can allow to occur and never have time for yourself. And maybe that's a bad, you know, I don't know. And how sad is that? You see what I mean about religion now? Can you imagine being basically socially obligated to get on your knees and meditate 3 times a day? I think things would change. How could you not think? Right? I'm going to play for a minute, and you can hang around or not hang around. Because the last topic I keep putting off, tried dipping my toe in it once, but I'm gonna have to face it, I think, and share what I think about my family trans in sports. And it's like, boy, how many things? So I'm gonna have to play my primary prayer to get through that. Oof. What an issue. What a challenge. Oh my God. What's fair? So let's talk about fair. You know, what's fair? Is there such a thing? There's only what's fair is people perceive it, and there's a wide range of fair, you know, because of everything, all the energies people are comprised of, right? So, one of the beautiful things about our journey is people are accepting it younger and younger. Because you know what you are. right? So before everything passes and you convince yourself you're not that, because fuck that. You can't make me. My perspective is people are identifying youth, right, in schools, as one of us. Hey, you can call it a mistake of nature, you can call it a accident of nature, or you could just call it nature. And I'm not going to talk about, because no one can, about what drugs kids are given or not given, or representation, or any of it at all. I'm not going to talk about that because it's private, right? And their children. And it's their parents' responsibility and their doctor's responsibility. I think parents have a lot more sense than a lot of people give them credit for. So while many people think that they're given all sorts of drugs and stuff, boy, is there anything stronger than most parents' love for a child, And they want to play sports. So Val, and I'm using my name, hopefully, not pointing at other Vals out there. Val wants to run track. And Val is a minor, right? And Val probably hasn't had surgery, right? And Val may or may not be on hormones related to Val being a woman. Don't know. Doesn't matter. Don't care, right? Val's been growing her hair out since she's like 4th grade. And she's such a beautiful woman, She just shines, It's like everyone loves her, So then becomes the question of, how does anyone know Val is trans? How does anyone know? Val just says they are and tells them, hey, I'm trans. How beautiful is that? Maybe that's one way. But otherwise, let's go down a scenario that says Val didn't tell anybody. Val didn't tell anybody. And the parents managed to get their birth certificate amended, with a doctor's signature, and change his gender. And Val has not been surgically touched. Because Val's too young to even know if she likes it yet. Like what I was saying earlier. Maybe Val grows up with this beautiful woman and she loves it. So it can't be about that. So everyone that looks at Val knows Val's a woman, a girl. She's 12. She's 12. And she uses the girls' restroom, always has, or in schools that are sensitive because they know Val may still, have a different part, uses some communal one or private one, that kind of thing. So once that happens, everyone knows, probably, Val is trans. And she is a really fast runner, oh my God. She's so good at track, And if you put Val in the men's track meet, everyone would be looking at it going, what's the chick doing running with the dudes? And Val doesn't want to run with the dudes because she's not a dude, She wants to run with the girls. She's a girl. I'm trying not to yell. Doesn't help. So what do you do? Because now, talk about what's fair, right? Let's bring reality into it. And say, Val was born with the anatomy of a male. And the muscular development, skeletal development of a male. Let's just say, because maybe that didn't happen, but let's just say that. And that, be fair with yourself, it seems like it could give Val a really big advantage if she's running against the girls, you know. And I think Val knows that. I think it's in your consciousness. How could not that not cross your mind? You're bigger, you're taller, you got longer legs, and you look great, girl. So what I got from Spirit is, and it's it's crazy difficult, but our next generation might get us there. Which is once society accepts that there is such a thing as trans, and it's a real thing, right? Which medical doctors have known through history. Don't send me backwards. Is we get to run, trans man or trans women. We get to run. We get to wrestle. We get to do whatever with the gender we identify as. But how can it still be fair, right? And all this, the only thing I've gotten from Spirit is, if we as society recognize there's such a thing as trans, and everybody knows a lot of these athletes are trans, or children athletes are trans, then why not put them up on the podium in essentially a trans woman or trans man category on the same level as they scored, right? So if they had trans man had the fastest time against a bio man, there's 2 gold podiums there because we're different things. And similarly, if they scored as a silver, and it didn't score at all, there's no podium at all. And same with trans women. And the energy that might emanate that solves like everything to me. It's like, who's going to get angry at that? And since it seems like everyone's going to know they're trans before they compete, however that works, I still don't know. Why wouldn't people be going, look at her, And the bio girl is right there next to her, or less, or more, depending on the individual's performance. So it brings it into basically saying, we're a thing that's unique, So I don't want to get into all the arguments of hormones that they may or may not be given, da-da-da-da. Nobody knows that stuff, and the media likes to play on it like it's happening all the time. A parent's going to do the right thing. A parent's going to do the right thing. And the ones that didn't, or have drug and addiction problems of all their own, probably aren't doing anything at all to help, So anyway, I'm going to enjoy my jammies. Anyway, I'll see you in a couple weeks. I've been so enjoying the weather, but it's about to get cold. And I actually made hot chocolate, which is now, however long this has been, it's probably not hot. It's actually still pretty hot. Anyway, I love you, family, and I'm glad I crossed those off the list. I'll see you when I see you. Still just chilling. I've been staying off social a lot because I don't know, is it helping? And I don't want to shut it down because in many ways it does help in small doses, So I love you guys. I'm not going to play after because I played before already and I'm tired. All right, I'll see you. Good night.